He didn't think I saw him, but I did. One little scout keeping an eye on me, ready to alert his little friends that it's time to swoop and kill. Well, I got him, I see him, and I'm keeping an eye on him. I don't have the tennis racket today, so I won't be able to defend myself if they figure it out, but hopefully they won't. So I will keep going. Hello, good morning. This is Bill from Curious Cars on a rather lovely Florida Tuesday, I have to say. It's pretty damn nice. It was 63 degrees as indicated by this car as I was driving over here this morning. Pretty good weather, not humid, pretty chipper. Peter has some kind of lawn guys here, like doing fertilizer or something, which actually shocks me because I thought he'd be way too cheap for that, but apparently not. He's fertilizing the grass, making it look green. They're going to make noise. They're going to be weird, but what the hell? Who cares? We're running out of sun, or running into sun, so I'm just going to go on this thing. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh my God, what a friggin' boring car. You know, a Lexus sedan from the mid-2000, you know, come on. I mean, what are you doing to us here? Where's the Bizzarinis or Hispano-Suizas or, you know, even an RX-8 or something? But I have to say, you know, this channel is going to be all about reviewing not just stuff that I love and stuff that's cool, but also stuff that makes sense and stuff that I would own. And this is a car that I would own. I really hate to admit that because, of course, I'm a Mercedes guy to the core. Not so much. Look at this. Look at that. Right overhead. There's a million of them in that tree. Yeah, keep heading that way. Anyway. This is a car I would own because it's a damn good car, and that's the issue with it. You know, you really have to hand it to Lexus on this one. This is a third generation LS series, and it's fascinating to me for a few reasons. The primary reason that it's fascinating to me is it's essentially the Japanese W140 car. And if you remember the 140 from Mercedes, that's the body style, it ran from what, 1992? All the way through 2000, well, 99 anyway, and was, you know, it's an amazing car. They called it the Grand Mercedes because basically any repair you did on it would cost about $1,000. But it was over-engineered, overbuilt, automotive insanity. And Lexus, when they designed this car, the 140 was in full swing, so they decided to make it in a competitive sort of way to that car. So this thing, by their chief design, I can't remember, a Japanese guy, obviously, this car was over-engineered, over-designed, overbuilt, big, tall greenhouse like the 140 car, same sort of stance as the 140 car. Here's the big difference. This thing was the most reliable Lexus that they had made at that point. It was like J.D. Power's #1 ranked car. Mercedes could only dream of having a reliability reputation the way that this car did. And you know, that's a tribute to Lexus. Here's another tribute to Lexus. This was kind of their flagship big V8 S-Class competitor sedan. And it essentially cost the same as that car. That's a W211 E-Class. I happen to know that particular 080 class stickered at just under 60, about 58 grand. Well, so did this thing. This thing would have stickered right in the $60,000 point. So, you know, from Lexus, what the hell is that? A little nag screen on the camera. Anyway, from Lexus, you could get their flagship luxury sedan for about the same price as the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, their mid-size sedan. And, you know, it turns out that wealthy people like a good deal, too, so they sold quite a few of these things. But anyway, we'll get into all of it. So what you have is a rear-engine, yeah, maybe air-cooled. What the hell is that on the hood? Bird crap. Look at that. Bird crap, and I don't have a rag. You know, for the love of God, those little friggin' bastards. Anyway, I don't even know where the hell I was. Yeah, rear-engined air-cooled car. No, front V8, rear drive, you know, a big luxury sedan that cruises the interstate with aplomb, cruises the, you know, the inner cities and towns with ease and grace and style, and ended up being a pretty great car for everybody who bought one. Let's just get into it. We'll start inside the trunk. I have to grab the keys out of here. This thing came with a nice set of keys. Look at that. All these goofy looking things. Press the trunk release. See if that does work, thank God. There you see the Lexus logo. You know, Lexus doesn't really mean anything. It was fabricated by Toyota as a brand name to compete, you know, with the German cars. They had the F1 project that started as in the 80s, and that became the first LS sedan, which frankly revolutionized the luxury car world. I mean, Mercedes had gotten lazy, absolutely lazy. They were so used to their superiority. They were thriving on a past reputation. They were building pretty great cars, but it was real old school German wood and leather nuts and bolts. They hadn't really bothered, you know, progressing with the times. It was just all based on reputation and the quality of the cars that were being made, but they weren't particularly modern. I mean, a 1990 Mercedes 420 SEL, a fantastic car, truly a fantastic car, but years behind the times in terms of the technology that was available. When the Lexus LS 400 came out, it threw Mercedes for a loop. I mean, they were screwed. They had to change everything about the way they did business, and frankly, it wasn't very good for Mercedes. But anyway, this third generation Lexus, by, you know, extending the wheelbase and relocating the gas tanks, they managed to make this trunk 1/3 bigger than on the prior generations, and it shows. You could fit all kinds of crap in here. You've got an infant containment net, beautiful. You stick your infants in there, they're gonna, you know, paw at the little elastic crap, but they're not getting out. That's a second one if you end up with more than 1 or 2 infants. That one will lay flat underneath where this accessory carpet goes. It clips into those little chrome things, and then you could put infants down on the base of the trunk and put that net over them. Or I guess it also works for dogs or cats or even cargo if you needed that. But you'd be able to fit just about anything you want in this trunk. Golf clubs, hand grenades, you know, you name it, it's all going in there. And if it ain't enough, you've got a pass-through as well. So if you've got a really long sniper rifle or ski poles or anything at all, like, you know, PVC pipes, you're doing a little work on your house, you can pull that open and run shit through to the front of the cabin, and you'll be able to get the long cargo in there. Also has this neat little removable toolbox. I haven't looked in here yet. Looks like a gun case, actually. But they got some batteries, wrenches. Yeah, because I can see the guy who owns this car breaking out those wrenches and starting to, you know, do stuff on his car. That's going to happen. Yeah, for sure. Slide that back in where it will never come out again. Underneath here, there you've got a full-size spare tire, your jack, and what other crap you need to get going. I'm going to hang this license plate so when we go for a drive, I'll be legal for a change. Very nice stuff. Have a look under the hood. That is that guy there. Now that's the trunk. That's the hood. God. Get that back down again. I think it has a suck down. Yeah, it does. Okay, so under, what are we going to find under here? The 3UFZE, or it was new for 2000, and it was very advanced for its time. It's got intelligent variable valve timing, which who the hell knows what that means or cares. But the long story short, 290 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque. It compared very properly with the Mercedes at the time and was able to propel this big car 0 to 60 in a little bit over 6 seconds. So it was awfully quick. By the time this 06 model rolled around, I think it's an 06 and not an 05, but let me check. No, it's an 05, so I am wrong. Although it's the same as the 06. It was equipped with a 6-speed automatic, which really helped the acceleration and fuel mileage at the same time, and was a very nice leap forward for this third generation Lexus when it came out in '03. But anyway, everything neat and tidy and well coiffed under the hood, all very lovely. You know, doesn't look complicated, looks very simple by the use of these sort of cheapy plasticky engine covers that it has, but you know, it works out. The effect is good, and everything looks nice under there. I love those big dual horns. Also, these lights were new for '03. Not only were they bi-xenon, which was great for, you know, lighting up the world around you, but it had an advanced lighting system which would steer with the steering wheel, so you'd be able to turn corners and light up the road on the side. Also has parking and beepers. You can see those little sensors in the front bumper. They're also in the rear. Has good looking, sort of a grayish 18-inch rims, very, very nice. The cladding on the bottom, very Mercedes style, and works well. Folding mirrors, sunroof, had a keyless entry system. You see that little button there, so it'll just sense the key in my pocket and open the door accordingly. You hear it doing just that. The extended wheelbase helped with rear seat legroom. Your Canadians are going to be happy as a clam back there. I mean, there are 3 of them, no problem. Very chipper, very comfortable. You pull down this center armrest, you see we've got some heated seats there, nice stuff in Toronto. There's the pass-through. You see it as a cargo, not a cargo, sort of a window shade over the cargo tray in the back, all very nice. There's a big speaker for that Mark Levinson sound system, big woofer in the center, and everything all very lovely back here. Nice, soft, lovely, proper leather. And of course, it's the fit and finish on these things. I'm really torn on it for a variety of reasons. I mean, the fit and finish is beyond reproach. I mean, it's incredible. The way that everything goes together, it's never going to squeak, it's never going to rattle, it's going to stay together, it's going to be nice. But there is just a hint of Toyota Corolla in this, and that's the part that offends me a little bit. I mean, that switch could be in a Prius. But, whatever. I guess it didn't make sense to make a new Lexus fancy window switch, at least in this era, when they had plenty that would do. But anyway, the fit and finish, the quality of it all is incredible. And that's a really neat part of the car. That closed fine. Up front, same story. Apparently Lexus designed these seats to resemble the first class seats available on Japan Airlines or British Airlines, and as such they're supposed to be very attractive and very comfortable. I can attest that they're very attractive and very comfortable, having driven the car around. You know, they're supportive, they're nice, they have good power adjustments, and they work fine. Whether or not they look like the ones on British Airways or Japan Airways first class, I wouldn't know. I'm not really the first class kind of guy. But anyway, they are pretty terrific. And in fact, the whole cabin supposedly was designed and inspired by, you know, high-end hotel rooms in the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons. And again, that's stuff that I can only guess is true because that's not, you know, the Motel 6, it does not look like, and that's probably where I'd be hanging out. Again, nice fit and finish. You have a fantastic gun storage area on this door here. I mean, there's virtually no limit to the weapon you'd be able to fit in there. Your big framed 357s, even a 44. Hell, you fit a 50 cal Desert Eagle Magnum in there, no issue at all. Uzi, Mac-10, whatever you want, you're going to get it in that pocket without a problem. You've got, I guess this thing moves the seatbelt up and down, so if you need a higher shoulder, you can have it. You got your 4-way power windows, and you got your memory seats, and this lovely wood inlay that's actual genuine wood. Let's hop in and see what we got. Get my seatbelt on. Now, you know, again, Naples, where I live and work, we get a lot of winter residents, and the winter residents end up buying condos, and those condos essentially sometimes need condo cars. Not everybody wants to drive down from Wisconsin, so they decide to buy something to stick in their condo garage. And if you need a car that you want to spend not too much money on, but is very luxurious, nice, reliable, and you don't have to think about it, you really couldn't do better than this car. And that's one of the reasons that I bought it, and one of the reasons reasons that I'm even doing a video on it. It just, you know, for the money, it's an insanely great condo car. You could just stuff this thing in your garage, put it on a trickle charger, and never think about it. And that's the quality that was built into these cars that unfortunately Mercedes and BMW was lacking at the time. I mean, Lexus handed it to them. They took it to them and they took them out. I mean, they really did have an incredible quality. Because it's the keyless system, oh my God, it's hard one-handed. You don't need to put a key in. There you can see it all fires up. Those backlit gauges come to life now with white backlighting, which is very easy to read and nice. Those glowing needles are kind of cool when they do their self-test, and the instrument cluster is all very cool. You got this nice wooden leather steering wheel, lovely, all very proper. You've got your stalks with your automatic headlights and fog lights and wipers and washers. Over here you've got power folding mirrors if you want them. See, they fold in. You can set it up so they're always folded. Because you wouldn't want them always folded, but you can have them folded when they park. This is weird. This fancy button for a storage compartment. When you're, you know, driving at night, this is lit up, and you think it's going to like turn off the traction control or something. But all it does is open this thing, which I don't know what you put in there. I guess coins for the toll and, you know, whatever else. But interesting little place. You got your fuel and trunk release down there. On the side there's a joystick. It's a tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Nice. Multifunction, so you've got all your radio volume controls, your modes there, so you can go through your different trip computers and such. There, I've put it on AM. That's a great mode. Get back to that. What do we got? You know, the Beastie Boys, even though that first album was a bit hokey, I have to say, they have to be one of the greatest musical groups of all time. Okay, I probably reviewed this car for one reason and one reason only, and that is these ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous oscillating vents that they put in this car. I mean, you have to be kidding me. You really honestly do. See if I can make a move in opposite directions now. I mean, this is like the cheapest Motel 8, you know, air conditioning unit I've ever seen. Look at those things oscillate. I want to put little ribbons on the end of them so they're coming out like you would see in these offices. I mean, that has to be the hokiest, silliest thing I've ever seen in a motor vehicle, certainly of this magnitude. I mean, that is just ludicrous, but in a weird way I like it. One thing I will guarantee you, this car is what, an 05, so it's basically 15 years old, maybe 16 depending on model year. If they had this in a Mercedes-Benz at the time, I would bet you $1 billion it would not still be working, and I feel very comfortable making that bet because of the quality. I mean, again, you have to remember, the guy who designed these things, if he brought shame to the company, he'd have to jump out a window, so there's a lot riding on it, and I think that's part of the reason that these cars are so well built. Anyway, you got a nice little, you know, clock, and look at that, 63 degrees. If this had the Nav Unit option, you would have this big navigation thing. You know, back in 05, I would have lamented that it didn't have it. Today, I'm probably just happier using the phone anyway, and I can appreciate it. You get into 15-year-old navigation, it's like having Pac-Man in your dashboard. So down here, you've got the premium sound system from Lexus. It's got your cassette, it's got your radio, you know, volume, tone, whatever else. Underneath there, you've got an in-dash 6-disc changer. Nice. You got a great little spot to put your glasses or switchblade. There's your sunscreen control. There's your traction control off. Here's your settings for the transmission if you want more power or if you're in the snow. Here's your heated and cooled front seats. Here's an ashtray if you're still a smoker. Obviously, whoever owned this wasn't. And this nice little gated shifter, Mercedes style, which you can shift manumatically by going here and banging your way through the gears, and who the hell cares, or why would you bother? Then these rather, frankly, I mean, I won't say they're cheap because they're not, but the mechanism, man, does that seem chintzy. But it is nice to have twin drink holders there. Here you've got an outlet, 12-volt outlet, nice big deep pocket for more weapons or whatever you want, and this sliding pocket there, good place to put a little Japanese 9mm or something, and of course a big giant glove box for all your crap. Keep these vents oscillating. Up here you have a self-dimming mirror. You got these funky looking lit up, powder your nose style sun visors with a little slot to put your insurance or license plate. You got a glass power sunroof. You can open it and just have glass, so you can go all the way and have, the night sky or the day sky coming in. Everyone wants a sunroof and nobody ever uses it. Oh, I'm sure there's some people. It also tilts up if that's your thing. Get that closed, and up here is a nice little storage compartment for your Serengeti drivers. All right, over here, what do you got? You got your lumbar for the seat, and then the backseat passenger can push the front seat passenger forward if they're being obnoxious and won't give them room. Although you'd have to be Mean Joe Green to not have enough leg room back there. Get my seat forward and let's go for a spin. So one thing about the Lexus, and one thing they were trying to address during this was that, people thought of them as too detached in terms of driving. There was none of the sporty stuff that you got with the BMWs or the Mercedes, in their minds. So Lexus wanted to address that. You see those power bumps on the hood? They, for the first time, offered a tuned sport suspension. I don't think this has it, but they did make it. They made an air suspension. They made it quick. They made it handle. They made it nimble. And of course, all of that was meant to address the idea that Lexus was kind of boring. Well, in my mind, it's still kind of boring. I mean, if you want something more exciting, there's plenty out there to choose from. But not all of it is going to be this good. Let's see if the sun is too much for us. That's good enough. So anyway, you can barely hear the motor running. You can barely hear the transmission or feel the transmission shifting. It just gives you this nice luxury car detachment from the act of driving, if that's your thing. It's not mine. I like to be more active. I like to feel more for my machine. But there's a lot of people out there who don't. Driving, getting where they're going is just secondary to them. Primary is the, function of transportation or talking on their phone or doing Facebook while they're running around. So they're not going to care if the car has a raspy exhaust note and is able to go through the skid pad at a pretty good rate. And if that's you, then this could be the car for you. It did have like the lowest drag coefficient, of like a 0.26 or something, so very, very slippery, and that's how it managed to turn in really good fuel economy numbers, as well as that 6-speed gearbox, which was geared pretty low for acceleration through the first 4 gears, and then very, very tall for 5 and 6. So didn't turn too many revs on the interstate and gave you pretty good fuel mileage. So get ready to turn. Current events wise, I don't know what the hell's going on. So I guess we do have a new president now. It seems that way. I'm not particularly excited about it, to be perfectly frank with you. I'd have been just as happy to keep going the way we were going, because I really don't trust these people. But I trust people who are part of the establishment even less than those who aren't. This is not meant to be political. It's just a thing. I understand there's also some debate about who's going to have the Senate. I hope to God it's the opposing party, because I think the United States works best when it's caught in severe gridlock and nobody can do anything, because the last thing we want those people to do are things. It would be much, much better for all of us if they just didn't do things and we were able to do whatever it is the hell we want to do without worrying about the stuff that they want us to do. That's just the way that I see things. So I am praying for gridlock. I really, really am. Okay, back to it. So anyway, this Lexus smooth down the road. I mean, you can barely hear anything. I mean, if the car were any less present, you wouldn't even know it was there. And again, that's what some people want. I'm not necessarily one of them, but in terms of luxury cars, they did a nice job with it. And there it is. So third generation Lexus LS 430. In many ways, the Japanese 140 car, over-engineered, overbuilt, over-equipped, over everything, but at the same time with Lexus quality, so it actually works. Even these ridiculous oscillating vents, they all still work, and that's really what makes the car so great. And frankly, a terrific bargain today. I mean, this is a pretty fancy car. Even a guy in a limited budget could go out and buy, and he doesn't have to worry about getting nailed at the repair shop, because frankly, it probably just won't break. Keep the oil changed and, you know, drive it nicely, and it'll be very nice to you. This will be for sale at the Auto House website. If you have an interest, give them a call, 239-263-8500, on the web at autohousenaples.com. Trying to come up with some more neat stuff. I still have that 68 Riviera. I still have an 87 pickup truck. I'm trying to negotiate a deal with another buddy of mine to get into a Maybach and a Ducheveau and some other stuff. So promises of more fun stuff to come in the near future. Also this weekend, Turkey Trot, biggest race of the year. So basically, you know, my day from here on out is just getting ready for that. Testing out the new very cheap motorhome this weekend. I think I've killed all the wildlife inside of it. I hope to God I have, but if not, you'll hear about it next week. So thank you very much for having a look. Appreciate it. And we will see you with the next one. Take care. Listen to that. Yeah, so it does have a little bit of pep to it. Yeah, maybe I'll just keep hammering it all the way to work.